Well, what a crazy day in Geekdom we had. Major news stories. We're going to cover a few of them right now. First of all, it was announced that Batman, played by Ben Affleck, will make an appearance. It was rumored Ben Affleck will make an appearance in 2016's Suicide Squad movie in a scene with the Joker, setting up a solo Batman film.
Go Batfleck.
Exactly. Other news, it was announced that Simon Pegg is going to do a treatment or a draft or a rewrite of Star Trek 3.
May the Force be with him.
All right. And the news that we've all been waiting for with bated breath. I don't know that I've slept waiting for this announcement. We finally have an actress playing Supergirl. Melissa Benoist, most recently seen in the movie Whiplash and on the hit television show Glee, will step in to the tights of Kara Zor-El.
I just hope it's not a piece of Krypton. Krypton?
It's the Geek 360 show starting now. Well, everybody, welcome to Geek 360. I'm Tommy Bechtold.
And I'm Chris Gore.
Chris, great to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
We're super excited. We got a lot of things to cover today. I don't think we need to waste too much time getting into it. We do want to shout out a few people who are already in the chat room who have probably been waiting to be shouted out. We got Denise V. Denise V, we love you. Faqad, our #1 fan. Faqad here every week watching this show. Loving it, we assume. Star Drew. Star Drew is here. Thank you, Star Drew. Greg Kashmanian is live on set today, so that's got to be incorrect. And finally, we have Chris, am I saying this right? Ballantine or Ballantine? Now, Ballantine makes me think of Valentine's, which makes me think of Valentine's Day, which makes me think of my ex-wife, which makes me think of Hint Water. Okay? Full circle. We've got some great guests today.
Let's introduce our guests.
Okay. I would love to do that. First off, we have a stand-up comedian working for the forces of Geek Good. Give it up for Greg Kashmanian. All right, Greg, welcome to the show.
I left my computer on in the chat room, so I'm technically there.
Great, so you're two places at once. Yep. You're like Clone Greg. And second of all, we're very happy to have our next person. We have she's a columnist for Forces of Geek. Give it up for Erin Maxwell.
I mostly write about Greg.
You're great. You do a lot of Greg-centric writing.
It's
great.
all about that. 15-piece.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. All right, guys, let's get into our first topic. We're going to do some Geek 360 at the movie. Now, news leaked today that Star Wars: The Force Awakens will feature a female Stormtrooper. Do you think this is a cool new element for the franchise, or is there a better place for a strong female character in a franchise that historically is kind of devoid of strong female characters? Greg, we'll start with you.
I think there's going to be three types of reactions. There's going to be the people who are like, oh, you can't have a female playing a Stormtrooper, and you don't need to bother with them, they're idiots.
Okay.
And then there's going to be people who are like beholden to the extended universe, which like kind of am, and like have read thing and know that like Iceheart and Admiral Dala and like the X-Wing series and stuff is special because they're female, because the Empire is historically like against, employing females in the Imperial ranks. So like you have that, and then there's the third group, which I want to be, which is just like, it's 40 years after Return of the Jedi, the Empire's in shambles. Let's see what happens.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does the internet know whether it's a female Stormtrooper? Is it like a female Stormtrooper, or is it a black female Stormtrooper? I feel like if it's a black female Stormtrooper, there are going to be some people who are going to be really pissed off, and to them I say, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Basically, is what I would say.
I believe this is a white female Stormtrooper.
All right, well, we'll see.
I think she's a model too, so it's a hot female Stormtrooper.
Aren't you a little hot to be a Stormtrooper?
Yeah.
I think historically it fits into it if you go by extended universe, because you had the clones, and then about 30 years after that, some of the clones they used clones, but they didn't use the FET clones, so they used a bunch of different templates. Then about 30 years after that, that's when they started opening up the ranks and anybody can enlist. Yeah. And then about a couple decades after that, then you had the family thing where they made it so if you had kids and you were Stormtrooper your kids, and it became a hereditary job. Oh. So it kind of all fits.
Yeah, Like maybe they get free college courses out of it if they join the,
Sure.
the Imperial forces.
See the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
See the world.
There's a GI Bill for the Empire. Wonderful. All right, yeah, great. Good stuff.
Maybe with Grand Chancellor Obama. In episode 9, they all get free community college.
That would be wonderful.
Free galactic community college.
Stormtrooper
What's going to
can
happen?
fix the
Darth-
shit out of your refrigerator.
Darth Boehner will just sit behind Obama, scowling. the whole time.
Darth Boehner. Cool. All right, well, let's move on to our next topic. It's Geek 360 TV. Okay, so it would appear that the new Walking Dead title is Fear the Walking Dead. Little else is known about the show except the fact that it takes place on the West Coast. Is there room for 2 Walking Dead shows? Greg, we'll start with you.
I think there is room for 2 Walking Dead shows. I like that it's going to be on the West Coast because one thing we haven't seen in a market that's like oversaturated with zombie movies is surfing zombies. Super excited, a lot of potential there. Like, hey, hang 10 and then they eat a leg on the sand, watching the sunset. I think it's beautiful.
Erin, what do you think?
Well, this is what I know about it so far from when that script was online, is that it takes place in LA. It takes place during the time that Rick was in the coma. So that covers about 100 days. And the first couple of pages, it kind of said something about the CDC was denying the zombie outbreak. So we know that much. Is there room for it? I mean, there's 300 medical procedure shows. There's all these different crime shows. Like, I don't need another goddamn show about a genius detective.
Sure.
Okay, so yes, there's room for it. But you also have iZombie and a bunch of other zombie shows that are coming out around the same time. So it'll be interesting how they all kind of work together.
No, I think you've got a good point. I mean, there are a billion of these SVU shows.
Right.
You know, crimes, why not a bunch of different zombie shows?
And
I
it's
think
so
it makes a
popular.
lot of sense. And plus, I think it would be good just to get out of Georgia. It seems like, are they running in circles? I mean, literally, I was just on the East Coast, and you can drive through that state pretty quickly, like in a day.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how they've been just like running around in circles trying to find another farmhouse to hang out. Or, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like Walking Dead's got to go somewhere in this next season.
California is vast with a lot of different scenery. They can easily spend 6 years there.
Yeah, they keep going back to, Atlanta. They keep going back to the city, which to me in Walking Dead makes no sense. It's like why they keep going back to Tatooine in Star Wars.
Right.
Let's open up the universe. Let's go to other cities.
Walking Dead Miami, a little cocaine in those zombies. They're running a little faster, huh?
Walking Dead Birmingham, Alabama.
Right.
Walking Dead
All south.
Walking Dead Los Feliz.
Walking Dead Los Feliz.
Hipster
Walking Dead
zombies. I would love to see them all.
Hipster zombies.
I don't think you can tell the difference between hipsters and zombies because they pretty much dress the same.
The demand is there for more Walking Dead right now.
Right.
It's just how long is that gonna how long until we're like, okay,
Right.
this is becoming, Scrubs and Grey's Anatomy and all of this.
And I feel that AMC is trying to relive their 2013 lineup by bringing
Yes.
back Better Call Saul.
Yes.
So they're going to have the magic duo again of Walking Dead and Breaking Bad.
Yes. Yeah. The glory days.
Yes.
As they will. Well, yeah, you see that Law and Order tried to go to LA and America said, we're done with Law and Order.
Yeah.
So that could happen
We'll
here.
take Minneapolis over LA.
Good stuff, guys. We got to take a quick break with a message from theStream.tv.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like Hurricane Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
Ben, the more brutal you are,
the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy. It was hot. It was heated. I was into it.
You are going to be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell them go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on theStream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Welcome back to Geek 360. Now we're going to head into our next segment, Geek 360 Games. GOG.com has recently released a bunch of old Star Wars games like X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and Dark Forces, while Archive.org has released a bunch of old games from MS-DOS like SimCity and Oregon Trail. All of these releases have been massive hits with the gaming public. Is it just the nostalgic value these games are producing, or is there some magic to how the games were made back then compared to games that we're used to now?
Could I take this one?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, let me just say, first of all, those are some of the best games ever made.
Agreed.
Those games are fantastic. And I think the reason that they've sustained interest from hardcore gamers is the playability, which doesn't always, you don't get that out of every modern game that comes out. I mean, especially X-Wing and TIE Fighter, which I played, not only played all of those through, but all the expansion packs that came out. Like, yeah, B-Wing and just all of those. They were just fantastic. So I've always wanted to see, you know, them reach the next-gen platforms. Why haven't we seen a PS4 version of TIE Fighter or X-Wing? Same thing with Xbox One. So people are playing these games because they're not on the other systems. If they were on the other systems, that would be awesome. I don't know what goes into the programming of that, but the gameplay is what made those games fantastic. That's why people are going and playing these. And a lot of them are even like, they're embedded in the browser, which is pretty fascinating. What do you think, Greg?
I think part of it is definitely nostalgia, but I also think games were better back when we were kids. They were more challenging. The only game that's out right now that has gotten harder to pick up over the years is Madden. That is the only one. It got more intricate, and you have to learn more things to play it well. But every other game has been dumbed down to like just the casual gamer level because gaming is coming to the forefront. It's more in right now. But like Dark Forces, it's a hard game. It's a first-person shooter, but it's still a hard game. X-Wing. I mean, how many times did you do the trench run on X-Wing?
Oh my God, so good!
1,000 times.
So good!
It takes forever.
For me, it's mostly about the nostalgia. I mean, if you look at the games that they had on archive.org, they have like the Indiana Jones game. That was not a good game, but I will sit there and play it for an hour and a half because I feel like I'm 7 years old again and want to play it. And that's why like you also have the success of like these kind of like barcades and 1982 where they're building them around these retro machines because people want to like get hammered and play these games like, kind of recapture their youth.
There's one opening like 3 blocks from where I live.
Yeah?
I cannot wait. One of those like retro arcades.
Yeah.
Where you just pay like a fee for like its hours. Sometimes they use quarters. It's so funny that that's come back. I mean, they've exploded across Los Angeles, and I know other cities have them as well.
It's like Back to the Future Part 2 had those old vintage arcade games in the bar, like Cafe 80s or whatever it was.
And surprisingly, Elijah Wood is still right behind you watching you play.
That's right.
He's DJing.
He's like the little kid in there.
But there's something so intrinsic about like Pac-Man and games like that where it's just like that game will never not be popular because it's a challenging game. People it's not like the graphics are not, it's not a graphically engaging game, but it's just something challenging about it that at the core of like really good video games, it's a challenge. It's a mental challenge and it's a coordination challenge.
I'm surprised how much muscle memory comes into play because I played Zelda again recently from beginning to end, and it's like you just remember like all the secret passages, how to push a bush, like oh don't go to that fucking merchant, he's gonna like steal all of your coin and not give you anything.
Did you say how to push a bush?
Yes.
How to push a bush.
You gotta push a bush sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta push a bush.
It's a new instructional video series I'm coming out with, and let's not diminish how fun it was to name characters in your Oregon Trail party after your enemies and then watch them painfully die from dysentery and typhoid fever. It's like, oh, Jeff, you wronged me in math class, and now you will get no rations this week. Because I'm for real. I'm from the streets of Oregon. Sorry.
I have a long-standing feud with a guy in 4th grade. His name is Sam, and we played Number Munchers. and we had a feud for the top score, and that feud has kept. I'm 30 years old now. I was 9 in 4th grade. Yeah. That feud is kept up for 21 years.
We got to get you crazy kids together and settle this thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able
My
to
sister and I have that with Burger Time.
Well, great. Okay, games are good. That's what I took from that.
Okay, so switching gears, it's time for Geek 360 Tech. We don't have. Is there a logo that comes up?
Hey, maybe we'll put it in post.
we could put a logo in post. But let's get on to Geek 360 Tech. Okay, so it now appears that Chevy may beat Tesla to the market with the world's first mainstream electric car with its Chevy Bolt, capable of traveling 200 miles on a single charge. Is this a monumental failure by the savior of cars, Tesla? After catering to elite environmentalists, it now seems they won't get their Tesla 3 out in time to beat Chevy. So
I refuse to call Tesla the savior. You can't have like a car that costs like $100K and like, oh, they're going to save the environment by making it affordable to no one.
I wrote that question, and I put that savior in there very sarcastically because I believe that Elon Musk is a Bond villain.
Yes.
Who's probably building a moonraker in his lair instead of an affordable electric car. I mean, they basically say, like, if you are a rich person, you can save the earth. If you're a poor person, get in your Honda Civic and burn up some gas and just blast it all into the atmosphere.
It's not a failure, though, because they're doing the Beats by Dre method. They're branding themselves as this elite electric car.
Sure.
So when it comes out, are Beats by Dre worth $400? No headphone on the planet is worth $400. But they've thrown so much into marketing and making it the hip brand, the brand you need, that's what Tesla's doing, and it's not going to fail. Plus, they're going to have the advantage. Chevy's going to roll their car out first. There's going to be a ton of problems that we're not seeing, and then Tesla's going to be able to adjust to it.
Like if it rains, the car electrocutes the person.
So the price difference on these two cars is about 10 grand. Like I think the new Tesla is about 45, and then this one's 35. That's about right,
we're calling that affordable by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't Chevy Cobalt for me.
I'm cruising in a Skylark.
Whatever happened to good old pedal bicycles, right, Chris? You like to bike, don't you?
Yeah, pedicabs.
Yeah.
I take those all the time.
A rickshaw.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess this is one of those things that we'll have to wait and see till the car is rolled out.
Right.
And only time will tell.
Tesla's going to win. I will call it now. Tesla will win this.
Well, the man Tesla lost because he died penniless. But the company, run by an eccentric billionaire, probably will win because usually rich people always come out on top. Guys, pains me to say this, but it is time for our final topic. This is what we like to call a little Geek 360 potpourri. Like Jeopardy, this could be about anything, but today it's about gambling. Chris Pratt and Chris Evans, respectively Star-Lord and Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, have placed a little wager on Twitter over which team is going to win the Super Bowl. Now, if the Seahawks win, Chris Evans has to dress up as Captain America and go to Seattle in Seahawks gear and visit a children's hospital because Chris Pratt is a beloved Seahawks fan. Now, if the Patriots win, Chris Pratt's putting on his Star-Lord gear and a Tom Brady jersey, and he's got to go to Boston and greet all those children. Now, I feel the presence of a Tom Brady jersey in a hospital will only make children sicker.
Right.
So that just seems like a bad idea anyway.
I agree completely.
I guess my main question is, geeks, what are our Super Bowl picks?
Well, yours is Green Bay. I can tell from the colors that you're wearing.
That's right.
Today. You seem to be supporting Green Bay.
This is my coach outfit.
I'm out, man. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm going to hold my head in shame like this.
You're
Just
rooting
go to
for
a
Bane.
bar.
Yep.
What about you, Greg?
Well, as a Bills fan, I can confidently say that I am perfect at picking Super Bowl winners. Honestly, I hope it's the Seahawks. I think it'll be the Seahawks. And I also hope that Chris Evans has to dress up as Johnny Fire.
Johnny Storm?
That too.
Yeah.
I thought it was Johnny Fire.
No, it wasn't Johnny Fire.
My bad.
It wasn't Johnny.
My
But
fault.
that might be better than that new Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
That's
I hope
supposed to. I hear that. Look, I'm watching the Super Bowl because I want to see the commercials. All right. I want to see what big movie trailers they're going to debut during the Super Bowl. So
Want more Avengers?
yeah, well, I'd
another
like to see
Avengers.
Batman versus Superman. Come on,
Wow,
I'd like to see
sure.
Fantastic Four. Let's see, maybe a new Star Wars trailer.
Guys,
right?
Fantastic Four with Johnny Fire though.
With Johnny Fire.
Let's make it better.
Oh my God, I'm taking away your geek card. Your
Yeah,
Fantastic
you
Four
can
geek
have it.
card has been taken away.
I hope
But
the Seattle Seahawks win and Chris Evans has to dress up as Johnny Five from the Short Circuit movies in Seahawks gear.
I want to see Pratt dress up like Andy from Parks and Rec and go and see how kids relate to that.
Well, this topic's definitely gone off the rails, but I think what's really funny is today, Tom Brady did that press conference about Deflategate or Balgazi, as they've been calling it. I just think what's funny is watching all the news media talk about balls.
Yeah.
Like the whole news media is just like, well, and they're discussing balls and this, and you can see there's sort of like half grins there because it just every time I see it, I just want to say, and that's what she said.
Yeah.
Every single time someone in the media is talking very seriously about balls.
Yeah, they haven't had this much fun in the media since Anthony Weiner took pictures of his own wiener.
Right.
Out to people.
It's Tom Brady's balls.
Right.
Every 5 years or so, we get a gem.
Yeah, this is good.
Oh my God. And Brady was like standing there with and right in front was this Gillette thing and it said #flexball. So there was that was not planned. I mean, that was like a thing that was a pre-existing
Are you sure that
endorsement.
there's no way that
but
wasn't not planned?
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Hilarity.
You don't need to write the comedy. The news is funny enough.
The world is a
Those
funny,
situations.
terrifying place.
All right. Well, we should thank our guests.
Yes, thank you, guests.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Erin,
Thank
Greg, you guys were great. I appreciate you coming down here and talking to us about nerdy things. Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for having.
Cool.
Well, guys, that's it for Geek 360 this week. This is Chris Gore. I'm Tommy Bechtold. We'll see you next week.